Penguin Audio presents Until Fountain Bridge by Samantha Young, read by Ruth Hopkins. Chapter 1. It was always the same when you were looking for something amongst a big pile of some things. The something you were after was at the bottom of that big pile of some things. I finally dropped the last box on the other side of the room and wiped a streak of sweat from my forehead. When I'd moved in with Adam 3 months ago, I'd promised him that all the boxes of junk that I put in his spare room would be sorted out and put away within a couple of weeks. I'd unfortunately reneged on that promise, and wasn't ashamed to say I was still leaning on my tumour scare to get me out of the admonishment that should have followed. I'd been diagnosed with a benign, and yet still terrifying, brain tumour 8 months ago. A diagnosis that not only traumatised my family and friends, including Joss, but had kicked Adam, my brother's best friend, in the behind. He'd finally admitted to everyone he was in love with me, and we'd hardly spent a day apart since. Although our relationship had changed, we were still us, and Adam tried not to treat me like I was made of glass. However, I'd noticed he let me away with things he wouldn't have before, such as cluttering up his clutter-free swanky duplex with all my rubbish, and I didn't know if this was because of the scare, or because we were a couple now and he was compromising. I swooped down in the last box with a grunt of triumph and ripped off the packing tape. Inside I found exactly what I was looking for, and I smiled. I'd already upended the box and sent my old diaries cascading across Adam's hardwood floors, before it occurred to me that upending a box of diaries might cause scratches. Wincing, I did the silly little dance over the falling journals as if this would somehow magically soften the impact of their rapid descent. It didn't. I dropped to my knees, picked up the books, and checked the floor for nicks. Nothing. Thank God. Adam was an architect. This meant that he liked his space a certain way, and his way was in pristine condition, especially when his space had cost him a fortune. Hardwood flooring wasn't cheap. Adam had already changed his life for me, doing a 360 from being the ultimate player to becoming a devoted boyfriend. From bachelor and proud clutter-free homeowner to doting partner and proud owner of stylish duplex covered in weird crap that his quirky, overly romantic girlfriend picked up in random places. He'd literally allowed me to leave my mark on every room, so damaging his floors wasn't exactly a nice way to pay him back. I kissed the tips of my fingers and pressed them against the floor in a gesture of apology. Els, what was that noise? You okay? Adam's deep voice could be heard from across the hall. He was in his office working on his and Braden's current project. Uh-huh, I called back, flipping through the diaries to make sure I had every single one of them. I was so lost in what I was doing, I didn't hear Adam's footsteps. What are you up to? His voice was suddenly right above me, and I jumped, startled, only to lose my balance. I heard him smother a snort and glared up at him. I need to get you a bell. Ignoring me, Adam crouched down onto his haunches, his eyes taking in the diaries. As always, when I studied him, I got a little flutter in the pit of my stomach and my skin tingled. With his thick dark hair and great body, honed from daily visits to the gym, Adam was a good-looking guy, but the kind of good-looking that immediately transformed to hot when you started to talk to him. He had a wicked smile, intelligent dark brown eyes that twinkled when he was interested in what you were saying, and a rich voice that seemed to take a direct path to a woman's erogenous zones. Those gorgeous eyes of his lifted to smile into mine. I haven't seen you with one of these in a while. My diaries, I nodded, trying to sort them into chronological order. I stopped writing. Why? I stopped after we got together. There didn't seem to be any point to them anymore, since they were basically just an outlet for my feelings for you. His lips curled up at the corners. Baby, he murmured, and reached over to tuck a length of short hair behind my ear. I frowned at the reminder my hair was short. Before the tumour, I had a head of long...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?